All right, today we're going to unpack a really powerful way of thinking about making an impact. And it's an idea that wasn't cooked up in a boardroom. It was actually forged in places like military supply lines and even the back rooms of nightclubs. It's called the service entrance strategy. And honestly, it's for anyone out there who's just tired of knocking on doors that never seem to open.
You felt it, right? That sense of complete helplessness when you're looking at these massive, tangled up challenges like climate change or food insecurity. I mean, we can see the problems, we often even know the solutions, but actually making progress feels impossible. So, what gives?
Well, here's the thing. We're almost always taught to go knock on the front door. The world of policy, writing petitions, and basically waiting for someone at the top to give you permission. But what if the real action, the place where things actually get moving, is somewhere else entirely? What if it's through the service entrance? So first, let's just dig into why that traditional front door approach so often lets us down. I mean, it feels like it should be the right way to do things, but more often than not, it's a total dead end. Okay, so here's the uncomfortable truth behind all this. A lot of our big institutions are basically designed to manage problems, not actually solve them. Just think about it for a second. If your organization's entire budget comes from grants to fight hunger, what happens to your organization if you actually solve hunger? Now, this isn't about bad people with bad intentions, not at all. It's just that the system itself is built to keep going, and that creates this permanent state of gridlock.
So, if the front door is locked, what do? Well, this is where we get to the good stuff. Let's talk about the alternative, the service entrance strategy. This is where things get really, really interesting and a heck of a lot more effective. The service entrance strategy is pretty much what it sounds like. It's all about bypassing those official systems that are broken. So instead of asking for permission, you just start creating value directly. You do it through real operational relationships, through business-to-business contracts. It's about finding those key leverage points where you can solve a problem without waiting for some committee to give you the green light. And you gotta love where this idea came from. It wasn't born in a university or a think tank. It was hammered out over years in some pretty wild arenas. It started in military logistics, just learning how to build informal networks to get supplies where they needed to go when the official system broke down. Then it got refined in the crazy, high-stakes world of running nightclubs, figuring out how to get competitors to actually work together so the whole scene got bigger for everybody. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but I know what you're thinking. Does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's take a trip to Trinidad and look at a case study that shows exactly how this strategy can completely transform a community.
The project is called Waste to Wealth, and it's all built around a local business called Troppy Mulch. The plan was brilliant in its simplicity. Take a massive problem, all the organic waste from resorts and farms, and turn it into a super high-value resource, one that could kickstart real, systemic change for the entire island.
Now, the core tactic they used is called upstream intervention. The idea is you don't try to fix everything all at once. That's impossible. Instead, you find one key spot, one leverage point, in this case, processing waste, and you focus all your energy there. You fix that one thing, and it sets off a whole chain reaction of positive benefits for everyone downstream. And here's the science that makes the money work, which is just fascinating. With traditional composting, you lose about 70% of your starting material. It just turns into gas and vanishes. But the humisoil process they use actually gains about 20% in mass. That's a 90-point swing. It completely flips the model from just managing a waste problem to actually creating a profitable asset. It's a total game changer. So remember that chain reaction we talked about? This one single intervention, this one upstream fix, does so much more than solve a waste problem. It creates this whole cascade of real, measurable wins across the entire island economy. It's amazing to watch. First up, the resorts that were creating all the waste in the first place. By partnering with the project, they saw their operational costs for things like waste disposal and groundskeeping potentially drop by 77%. 77! That is a massive win. They're not just doing something good for the environment, they're directly helping their own bottom line. Okay, next up, the local farmers. They get to use the humisoil that's created from the waste, and that could lead to a 57% increase in their income. And it makes perfect sense, right? When you have better soil, you get better yields, and you spend less money on stuff like water and fertilizer. This is a direct boost to their livelihoods.
Then you had the huge win for the climate. By keeping all this organic waste out of the landfill, the project avoids releasing a ton of really potent methane gas. The process also locks up carbon in the soil, All told, the annual impact is a reduction of over 44,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. That is a massive climate victory, delivered by a local business contract.
And this part is so important. It's not just about waste and soil, it is about people. This single project creates 74 high-quality local jobs, with actual career paths built in. This gives young people on the island a real powerful reason to stay and build a future at home, instead of feeling like they have to leave to find an opportunity.
So you see what's happening? This isn't just one project. It is a multi-system solution where literally everybody wins. The resorts win, the farmers win, the government wins, the young people win, and now the entire region has a blueprint that they can copy and use themselves.
What happened in Trinidad really shows us the bigger picture here. This isn't just a one-off success story, it's a playbook. But a playbook is pretty useless if it's just sitting on a shelf. You need a way to share it. And that's where a whole new kind of infrastructure for coordination comes into play. That's why the Regenerative Impact Alliance, or RIA, was created. It was built to be that shared infrastructure. It's a nonprofit, and its entire goal is to connect people all over the world with the tools and the frameworks they need to pull off these kinds of incredible multi-system wins. And RIA is built on one key insight, which this quote just sums up perfectly. The solutions to our biggest problems, they often already exist. They're just trapped in completely different worlds. The answer to a nonprofit's problem might be hiding in military logistics or even in corporate marketing. So, RIA operates on what they call a Venn diagram philosophy. Instead of focusing on all the ways different groups disagree, they look at the part in the middle where their needs overlap. You know, the stuff that every single impact organization has to deal with, like managing stakeholders, finding resources, or coordinating volunteers. That's where they provide the tools.
And this all points to a brand new formula for taking action. It's about combining the physical tools, the hardware, with digital connectivity, smart AI tools, and these powerful strategic frameworks. And what's the result? Communities that can actually coordinate and roll out their own solutions from the ground up.
So what's the big takeaway here? I think it's that the most powerful way to create change might not be to write another policy paper or sign another petition. It's to stop waiting for permission at the front door. Instead, it's about finding that service entrance, building those direct relationships, and just starting to deliver value. Because that's where the real work gets done. And that is where the real revolution begins.